Sisiano, say due to other issues are abano cocoa insensem MPP4 or more propaganda ewo cocoa insensem no akofom kakra. But no interest are ended. Unim, if there's one thing about MPP4 or more cocoa issue, a year propaganda or more ye ewo cocoa insensem so nipa ba kwa wo di enim eye miracles aboagye. Yeni na ye hu senya Dennis Miracles aboagye odi asem nenimu a ene koko say yen your cansem chese ni asem ketwa ko ye billboard ko ye nyama bebre na Ghana ena journalism asesa because na ke kan journalism pan dia na ke wose ye Ghana fo hu nsem nu nokware enye politician simple ene wose de nsem mabetuja na nka se politician no kan bibia journalist na or interview politician or no also to me then or set the thing right. But a lot of journalists these days, they don't even know the truth. Either they know the truth and they keep quiet, or they don't know the truth. In the politician need try and try a peniso and money try. In one of Dennis Miracles aboagye, ne propaganda no war you know. Oko kan sembi say under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, cocoa bo echo as high as $13,000. Obi biara wetie me platform we. Obi biara wetie me platform we. From that time, analysis am ye on the world market price no. Obi hu ne say Dennis Miracles aboagye same way wakan na ye ntro. Why? Let me show you. Because here I came on the platform. So this is the cocoa price, right? Cocoa we no any. And then munyamo kaya me analysis ne tremo. Emma analysis na me ye tremo no. Obi biare hu say time ana cocoa edu 13,000 no. It was in 2024, which was in MPP's era. It was in 2024. It is so big to say Dennis Miracles aboagye. Eba bonte no oba beka say in 2025 now cocoa price $13,000 based on obia utie me analysis ade no be hu say yentro. But because some journalists they don't know, ye pene ma Dennis Miracles aboagye in same way etudwa. Eye me de sende dubawa.org ghana.dubawa.org omo check fact omo ababonten ababe check fact no ehu ne say asemo ana Dennis Miracles aboagye work an draw. And I'm telling them I'm telling our group we say they should go into most of the issues Dennis Miracles aboagye raise here. Ube hu ne say ensem bebra wokan he 80% na draw. We one part pe ne hu ne say wo twa ntro no yen konsem ni mu ni na mu de mu be hu. Maybe read the article no atrem. When they your first time wa ha, subscribe and click the notification bell on so. Oya ne say latest news bi aba on sa ebeka. Obi biara wutie me bia we fu so. Wo pese we fu ba form in 10 no. Book no screen is on me recommend am. Your friend or your action plan for weight loss. Book no betre on yama miensa. Na utumi di so pepe 1 month pe. Obo nsenya we fu beba form. Oya Ghana ni na wa brochire na ope book ni bia. Obetumi nya no Amazon. Oko Amazon and now search for your action plan for weight loss. Otwa, ye be shipi di aba bibia wo bia. O Ghana ha say ya number ne wo screen is on 055-807-4986. Fresa number no on sabe kan book no. Book no format be pre wo ho. Obi a won pack en kan on pe hard copy no nini na wo. We will sort you out the free number no. There's also a link in the comment box. So the one person be free click a link in the comment box ni so no. Ubenya all the formats. Atiase. Now, I say MPP's Miracles aboagye makes false claim about global cocoa prices in 2025. Claim: member of the communications team of the New Patriotic Party, Dennis Miracles aboagye, claims that cocoa prices soared to $13,000 in 2025. Verdict: having analyzed data from the International Cocoa Organization and the Business Insider, we found the claim to be false. Now, as a member of the New Patriotic Party's communication team, Dennis Miracles aboagye is accusing the government of short-changing cocoa farmers. Commenting on the government's decision to cut the farm gate cocoa price paid to farmers, Dennis Aboagye accused the government of being untruthful and unfair. While questioning an earlier claim by the National Democratic Congress, Godwin Edugitamaklo, that the previous government had already purchased 92% of cocoa beans through forward sale arrangements, Dennis Aboagye said such a claim was inconsistent with the reduction in cocoa producer prices, arguing that if that volume had indeed been sold in advance, it would have been transacted at the prevailing market prices at the time. If it is true that Cocoa Board has sold 92% of cocoa beans by forward sale by January 2026, they would have sold it at the prevailing price at the time you were selling it, Aboagye said on Newsfile on Saturday, February 28th. He then claimed that cocoa prices had hit the $13,000/ton margin in 2025. As of August 2025, when they announced new cocoa prices, it was selling at around $7,200. The average for the year was around $7,000. Indeed, at some point in 2025, cocoa prices went all the way to $13,000. And it was a lie. Clearly, it is a lie. This is the data. At some point in 2025, cocoa price went to $13,000. And there was no point in 2025 that cocoa price went to $13,000. There was no point. Because the cocoa price chart for 2025 is from here to here, right? But there was no point. Cocoa price, no. Of course, But you see, me, aside everything, this is the daily chart. So me see me here analysis. This is the daily chart of a year cocoa, no. That's what I say. And I am happy because lower low, lower high, lower low. This is a retracement, lower high. This did not break this low. Okay. Lower low, it broke the low. Lower low, lower high. Lower low, lower high. Lower low, lower high. Now it is printing lower lows. It will print high. It will change character. And then we will see the cocoa price going up. What you say? It's just a matter of time. Cocoa for there. Give it next year. Give it next year. Cocoa for Besha has some more detail. But basically, this is the data that shows that Dennis Miracles Aboagye Echantro. In 2025, there was no point. Cocoa price do 13,000. What you say? It was the show was aired live on TV and was also live streamed on various social media platforms, including YouTube. A clip in which Dennis Miracles Aboagye made the claim has been posted on Facebook by Joy News. Did cocoa hit $13,000 per ton in 2025 as claimed by Miracles Aboagye? Dubawa decided to fact-check the claim in line with our mandate to combat misinformation and to promote truth in public discourse. Now, verification. To verify the claim that cocoa prices hit about $13,000 on the global market, we analyzed data from two sources, the International Cocoa Organization and Business Insider, and limited our scope to 2025. According to data by ICCO, cocoa prices on the world market peaked on January 29, 2025, selling at 11,453 New York figures per ton. This amount is not so different from what is provided on the Business Insider chart of cocoa prices for January 29th, right? We check it January 29th. January 29th. It is January 29th in 11,647. And it is true. What I say, because January 29th, no, this is the candle, the daily candle for January 29th. I think this is the candle, right? This is the daily candle for January 29th. And you are clearly seeing, say, January 29th, cocoa price peaked over here at a year 11,790. Into what share data now? Almost data, almost check here, no? January 29th, cocoa price, no, it was around 11,400, which is what I say, 11,000 within 11,000 range, which is indeed true. And to see, this amount is not so different from what is provided on the Business Insider charts of cocoa prices for January 29th. Okay, into we na or trade data no, and also ebe trade the charts. And okay, say while the two sources quote slightly different prices, neither reports cocoa prices reaching $13,000 as Dennis Aboagye claimed. A Bloomberg report on cocoa prices published in December 2025 makes reference to a time when global prices almost hit 13,000 the year 2024. And just as I told you, say a year 2024 and a cocoa price now a drew sa level no, which was MPP time. It was a cocoa sold to a record of almost $13,000 a ton last year as disease and extreme weather ravaged crops in the Ivory Coast and Ghana. A line in the article reads, with the article published in 2025, by last year, it was making reference to 2024. If prices had reached or surpassed $13,000 in 2025, that development would likely have been cited as the new benchmark rather than referring to a previous year. When we reviewed data from 2024, the highest cocoa prices were recorded on April 19th and December 18th at 12,500 and 12,400 respectively. In the MPP, one more time, April, and a cocoa do high, sir. But more Baba be chantro. Dennis Miracles aboagye chantro. And I like it. You see, and this is what the journalism should be about. Journalists are more a platform. And I've seen those things, especially Dennis Miracles aboagye with her cocoa sensemi blatantly lying. And then journalists will just sit down there. Either omonim and as a omonimo and no more peneso emani chantro. First no. Say journalist ebe interview obi no bekasa wa asem bi so. And you see that is one of the reasons why I always like Bernard Avle in interviews. You are never going to get Bernard Avle off guard. Every single interview be a Bernard Avle wo be na show be a wo be host no. Obema we hu say oti asem na se. Nti nsem na wo de aba beto nanim na wo ka no. Udi agrokro no ti ase krasen wo wa ye ni homework into the fa baby a ono so be trail say ni na wa quote data na nyama trail sa me aza baja de we na kontumi nkoka o Bernard Avle nim say in 2025 cocoa do 13,000 because Bernard Avle will do his checks omo be hu ni say it's a lie, but no it was your for Montreal your comment box ni mo be that say